Hello YouTube, hello fans, this is Daniel, back again for another video. This time I'll be focusing on the placement Jupiter in Aries. I wanted to take a look at the Jupiter placement throughout the zodiac, mainly because Jupiter is what we look at in terms of deciphering luck, deciphering what type of energy we resonate with when we come into a lucky situation. And what brings us luck as far as looking at, what traits, what things we need to do to generate luck in our life. And I think that, in this year 2017, the planet Jupiter is going to resonate particularly strong with a lot of people just based on various transits that I've looked at, various different charts that I've seen throughout early in this year. So I'm going to begin it in a very chronological way, starting with Jupiter in Aries and then moving through the zodiac, really just kind of pointing out some of the key factors and things. Of course, everything has to be taken together with individual placements, aspects, deacons, different things like that have a lot to do with how you yourself are going to fare as far as Jupiter goes and as far as Jupiter's luck is going to implicate itself in your life. Obviously, some people have greater detractions through hard aspects and Saturn and other difficult planets acting upon personal planets within the chart. Some people are going to have a much better time just by virtue of the chart itself. So with that, I would like to take you through a little bit about how Jupiter affects the constellation Aries, and those of you with that natal position might enhance the benefits of such a placement, and also think about some of the more difficult traits associated with it. So with Jupiter in Aries, we have to look at inspiring others. Aries is a leadership sign. Aries is the first among the 12 zodiac signs, obviously. It's a sign that's dedicated to hard work, to aggression, to the warrior spirit. And so when the warrior spirit is applied in your life by virtue of your tenacity, your ability to take charge of a situation, be it in work or personal life, you're going to experience a great deal of luck when you do these things. That's when Jupiter is going to come into your life, into those places, and bring about that luck and good fortune through its abilities to bring those things. So you have a talent for attracting many people to your cause, attracting a lot of luck at a very young age. The thing about Aries, of course, is that it's the youngest of the signs. Aries is often, if you look at a chart of age-related zodiac applications, Aries is often associated with babies. And this is because it represents the self, it represents, me. It's often considered a very selfish kind of sign and a negative aspect, as all signs have positive and negative. It's definitely going to be an energy that attracts itself to you as far as Jupiter goes when you have a talent for focusing in on your own self and for getting things done as an individual versus in a group situation. Typically in a group situation, you want to be the leader of that group, even if you may have other placements that cause you to be somewhat of an introvert, something of a hermit, maybe even. You're going to find that success comes from leadership roles. Success comes from being able to take charge, to be in that position to make things happen. And so even if you have other planets that are not resonating with that are detracting from that, if you know your own chart, you can definitely benefit from moving forward in life, taking on leadership roles, rising to the occasion, and embracing that Aryan sense of energy and vitality. Really, it's the placement that is the model for success through courage and enthusiasm, being able to bring a lot of vitality and life and youth to a situation is going to resonate strongly with this placement. Not so ironically, I don't think it's highly not unusual for someone with this placement to be successful early in life, especially if they have other planets that are going to bolster this position. It's definitely one that's going to have a lot of early successes in school, in a college situation, or an apprenticeship program. You'll be rising through the ranks very quickly if you are a younger person with this placement, especially with some of the newer trans-Saturnian placements that are going to go along with it. It's going to be something that you're very successful at. You have to see opportunity in everything. You have to be able to think of everything as a door that needs to be opened. Aries is a warrior. He's a fighter. It's a Mars-based sign. And so everything is considered combat for this sign. The very nature of it is to engage in warfare, to engage in conflict, and to conquer one's opponents and one's challenges. This doesn't always mean, guns and knives and bullets and bodies and all that kind of stuff, although it can in certain respects for people who have a strong military or martial arts aspect in their chart. It can simply mean conquering one's position, conquering one's profession, rising through an apprenticeship to become a journeyman and a master of whatever trade they may be engaged in. Being at the top of the chain is really what it's all about. And so it becomes a benevolent spiral. You become someone who thrives on continued success. Part of the downfall of this, however, is that once all the success has been achieved, or once you hit a wall in terms of not being able to climb a particular ladder anymore, Aries will seek out new challenges. It'll seek out new adventures. And so, you may find that you get to the top of a position, the top of a particular profession, and at that point you feel a little bored. You may feel a little bit held back by the very sense that you've achieved everything that you want to achieve. And so you have to find new challenges all the time. You have to find new ways to bring out that spirit, to bring out that warrior soul that is going to generate more luck for you down the road. Many of the people who are professional gamblers, people who play poker professionally, everything from that to people like Evel Knievel or Dale Earnhardt, as far as, if you're familiar with American sports and, American, NASCAR racing, many of these kinds of people have this placement. And so they, in effect, will, become, one with the challenge. They'll become one with what they're doing as far as a career or as far as a hobby or whatever it may be. And in some respects, it may even cost them their life. It may even cost them the highest price. But again, with that warrior spirit, with that ability to, always have a drive to come out ahead, no matter what the cost, it's a placement that can definitely lead you to greater glory and to greater success in life overall. You have to understand too that this is a placement that does not necessarily benefit from helping others. That sounds like a bad thing, but when I speak about Jupiter, I'm forced to speak from the perspective of what is going to bring you luck, what is going to bring you the most benefit as an individual. In Aries, we have to understand that Aries is all about the self. It's all about the looking out for number one. And so when you look out for number one, you can't look out for others. Aries benefits others through improving itself. As a leader, you have to be focused on making sure that you're the sharpest knife in the drawer. You can't be focused on assisting others one way or another too much. That's why, for example, we find that Mars is in detriment when it's in Cancer, because you're taking Mars out of his natural role and placing it in a sign that is completely antithetical to the Martian way. You're really blunting the spear in terms of getting it to do its job. And so when we have when we have Jupiter aligned with the constellation Aries, and you find this as a natal position, you have to be mindful that your greatest successes, your greatest luck is going to come from being able to focus on the self, being able to take time for yourself, being able to understand that if I can't take care of me, then I can't take care of others. And this goes for not just people who are, in a workplace situation where, they have teammates that need assistance, or they have, different things that need doing as far as other people are concerned. I mean, this can be, as simple as, a father with children, a mother with children, a sibling of some kind. You may find that you have other placements that cause people to reach out for you for help. I know I do myself, but for me it's a little bit different. I don't have this placement, so the results are going to be different for someone like me. And I'll touch on some of that kind of stuff later on. But if we look at this sign, if we look at this placement as a standalone, without other aspects, without other planets involved, we have to understand that Jupiter's resonance, its luck, its ability, its desire to bring you luck, in this case, it comes from being able to focus on yourself and yourself alone. Jupiter will not reward this placement for being a charitable person. Jupiter will reward this person for being a fighter, for being a warrior, for being an aggressor, for being someone who takes charge of a situation or a position. And really, it's all about just focusing on, how can I make me better? How can I do the best for me? And as a result of that, what you're going to see is that benefits other people. If you're the leader on a team and you're completely selfish with yourself, and you're completely looking at, how is this situation, how is this sale, how is this act, how is this whatever, how is it going to benefit me? As a result of being the leader in a group, you're going to benefit other people. Much as if you're a parent, focusing on getting that promotion, focusing on balancing the books at home, focusing on whatever it is that needs doing to make the family unit stronger, whatever that is, it's going to wind up benefiting others in a trickle-down kind of way that are either beneath you or dependent on you in some kind of situation. So by being selfish, you are in actuality being selfless, and therefore gaining the garner and the support of Jupiter's good energy when you do these things. When you move away from this, when you focus your energies on helping other people directly at the expense of yourself, this is when you begin to lose favor. This is when Jupiter begins to pull away from you, and this is when bad things begin to happen to you. People don't pay you back. People don't acknowledge what you've done for them to help them in their life. You experience a lot of negative results because of this, because you've pulled away from that energy that is bringing you the good luck, and you're getting the inverse result because of how you've chosen to undergo the process. At the end of the day, it's all about being enterprising. It's all about being direct, and it's all about being the person who's in charge. Ultimately, you want to be the person who is in charge, or the person who's in that leadership role with this placement. You want to have that uncanny ability to rise to the situation. And this can be tough for people who have, stronger planets, more personal planets, sun, moon, ascendant, midheaven, whatever it may be, that incline somebody to be introverted. One such example would be, if you had, let's say you had a Pisces ascendant, you had a Cancer ascendant, and your inclination was to kind of draw back, to be introverted, to allow things to happen. In that kind of situation, I've seen personally that you're going to have a negative effect, because the luck, the drive, the ability to succeed that is just beyond your reach is being held back by this ascendant position. Not to say it's bad to have a Pisces ascendant. There are very good things about it. It's just that in terms of having it locked up with a natal position such as this Jupiter, this Aries Jupiter, it's going to create a negative back channel as far as luck and as far as the ability to succeed goes. And these lead to different negative manifestations that I'll definitely get into later on in this series. But the overall net effect is negative when one has this tug and pull situation between some parts of you that want to hold back and some parts of you that want to leap forward. And realizing this, and looking at how I can overcome this, and the importance of overcoming it, if this is where your luck comes from, is going to be monumental in your success in life. So on the negative side, there is a tendency for people with Jupiter and Aries to be overconfident, especially if they have every other planet that's working for this placement, all firing at once. You can be someone who's overconfident. You can be someone who's careless, particularly with finances and in business matters. That ability to jump the gun. The ability to really not think twice about a situation, or even once in certain situations, can lead to your downfall. It can lead to financial losses. It can lead to someone getting over on you in some way because they know that you just have this kind of knee-jerk reaction kind of thing about you that they play to their own benefit. So you have to be mindful of that. You have to be mindful of the realities of your situation. How much risk can you take? How much are you able to afford losses, personal or otherwise? And gauge that with, how can I be successful when I think smarter and act smarter in a very direct way? So it's not just, putting everything on the table and making things happen and magically luck is going to come to you. Not at all. It's about being able to see that in a calculated situation, if I do A, B, or C, if I act on those at certain points, is it going to be successful for me? And when you act on those situations that you've thoroughly thought out, that's when you're going to have, this monumental amount of luck come your way, barring any other negative aspects that may be tied to your personal Jupiter. But really, though, it's all about taking control. It's all about taking control. It's all about being the boss. And it's all about just owning who you are as a person. Aries is a warrior. It's the god of war, as it's related to the diurnal aspect of Mars. In taking with Jupiter in some way, luck, expansion, living large, being large, in some cases with some people. It can definitely be a very positive placement for a lot of people who have it. And I'm anxious to hear about how those of you with this placement have fared, as far as thinking about how it might have influenced you, or how doing something may have been a lot better than not doing the activity in question. I'm very anxious to hear about all of the examples of this placement out there through this video, and answering your questions online and via email. So this has been my analysis of the placement Jupiter in Aries. I want to encourage everybody to subscribe and to comment below. And I'm looking forward to seeing all of you again very soon for the next video, Venus in the sign of Taurus. Thank you. Have a good night.